out if these players are online and everything, and if they are, we can start to can hop on in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so whoever wins this is actually going to be guaranteed money, I believe. Is this a best of 3 as well? This, I mean, winner bracket finals?
I believe so.
Okay, so another best of 3 coming out. And yeah, so whoever wins this is guaranteed at least second place. So this is actually a pretty big matchup on the line. I mean, 600, I think 600 euros for second place? I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's something like that. It's definitely no, small amount of money, especially, So definitely a big match. It's basically a guaranteed place match, so these guys are definitely wanting to win, both teams.
Mm-hmm. All right, so someone from that match is AFK as well. So.
All right.
So we're gonna try to get one of these games for you guys pretty soon, but hopefully someone comes back and we can get this started up. I think that. I don't know. Do you think that there's any chance that the Druid will play something else out? I don't actually know these players really, so I'm not sure if they can multi-class. But do you think if you could play a Paladin or something, do you think that would be a lot better? Because I feel like if you were playing Pally LEDK, who the hell would they go on? Do you think the Druid's better anyway?
I think the Druid's better. I think Druids are really, really just solid healers against Cleaves in general. Obviously it's a really good Druid, and I think that Talby, I think that's their Druid, is a really good Druid. So I think that Druid is just fine for this matchup. Obviously, Pally does bring those bops and, those different sorts of immunities to physical damage, but on the other hand, DK has Purge, although it's not all that reliable. It's still pretty good, considering that the team has no buffs, so it'll come off really, really fast. And I'm not too sure. I think he's just going to be playing a Resto Druid in that matchup. I think Resto Druid is fine versus Cleaves.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're going to be a very techy team. I mean, you don't kill a DK as a TSG. That just doesn't make much sense to me. He's going to be sitting in Blood Presence, cut, if he wants to, just spamming that conversion, healing so much, and just being like a massive raid boss tank for them. I don't feel like that's the correct target for them to go on. The LA Shaman might be something, just to lock down damage. He's going to be taking a little more damage from the DK and stuff, but I feel like the Druid might just be it for them. Like, if I was running a Cleave, I would definitely say, the LA Shaman, there's no way he's dying through Druid heals with Shamrage and everything. The other's a DK. We have to kill the Druid. That's our only, option. But this team has so much damage, and the Death Knight can, double grip things off the Druid. He has Displacer. It's just going to be a really tough matchup for them, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely could be pretty tough. I just don't actually know, how much damage they put out into some of these targets. I know that, DK Warrior obviously slays Shamans and stuff like that, but I'm just not sure, if they did go on the alley, if they do go on the DK, how much damage they actually are able to put out. I just have no really concept of that because I haven't played that matchup, so I don't actually know. But it'll be interesting. I mean, the one thing is if you go on the alley the whole time, he's not really going to be casting very much. I guess you don't really need to cast that. You can just flame shock everything and get procs. But
yeah.
It's at the same time, it's like if you go on the Druid a ton, I'm just not sure. Do you think they can actually stick to the Druid? Because it's like
yeah, I'm not sure. That's the problem.
For a while, but it's like they could even go Freedom Totem, but Earth Grabs and the DK gripping people. It's like he displacers, the warrior charges, and then the guy gets gripped back and stuff like that. Could be pretty difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to be. How it's going to be played out, and how the Druid is going to be able to live versus that, if the Druid is even going to be their target. Because I mean, there's not that many DK LAs on US at all. There's 0. So never really seen that matchup. I don't play any of those classes, so I wouldn't be playing that matchup. And there's honestly not that many Monk TSGs either. There's some, but not too many. They're usually kept down by the MLSs and stuff, because I feel like MLS does really well against them, and there's quite a bit of MLS on US. So have to see.
Yeah, I mean MLS definitely can slay that. If you can get good CC out on the Monk, but at the same time your Shaman can still die instantly. So
yeah, that's definitely true.
It's I think that the teams that just kind of embrace their inner Zerger and just all three just running in and stack on the Shaman and stuff, it can be pretty tough for the Shaman to live, because it's just so much to deal with. I mean, you have 3 interrupts and stuff. If they're all sitting on top of the Shaman and stuff, I guess that you don't have to deal with Ring of Peace, and then your Shockwave Stormbolt. It's and they can even, if they're going full all in, you can just play Strangulate as well, and you can do Shockwave Stormbolt, Strangulate, Ring of Peace, all that crap. It's a lot to deal with.
It's a lot. It is definitely a lot.
Yeah, it can be pretty scary. But
for sure,
we will see. We'll see how it works out. I mean, it's all just speculation at this point.
Yeah, for sure. No, don't actually know the matchup too well. Do you know who's AFK on the winner bracket teams, or is it just like a bunch of people in general, just because they weren't expecting to play yet?
I think the shaman, Ellie Shaman, is AFK.
Oh, okay, all these shamans.
Yeah, I know, man. Shamans are letting us down. They're scum,
Yeah.
just like CD.
Sidu is scum, dude.
Yeah.
Freaking shaman, what is he doing? He needs to get on his paladin.
All right, so I think that we will just basically. I'm just gonna start playing some music and just mute the stream for a bit. And when we have a match ready, then. Oh wait, oh he's ready. Okay, I think he's here now. Okay, we're gonna play Horde. He's back now. Okay, splendid. Who's leader? Okay, no, logged off. All right, but they are ready, so we should be able to get this going here very shortly.
Is it the winner bracket team ready?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Once I get there, my group leader name. Anyway, guys, everyone who is in the chat, if you're just new here, you can head on over to ProGameX.com. You can check them out. You can follow them on Twitter as well. It's at ProGameX.com on Twitter. Okay, so here, I got it. Terrio. Okay, we are ready. Great. Alright, so any predictions for this match? Do you think it's just going to be a 2-0 for the DKLE or what?
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be 2 for the DKLA. I'm gonna stick with the team that I predicted to win from begin with. They're gonna destroy everyone. It's over.
Yeah, we'll see, man. The Shadowplay is looking good. They're battling back, so maybe they can get back up there and get some revenge. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if they can, battle back up and get the revenge, that's the one team that I feel like does have a decent shot at beating them. So if they're able to battle back up, and get that, same, result they had on Negran and kind of try to reproduce that on another map, definitely, for sure they could produce. They could win, but we'll have to see. They have to get through that whatever comp comes out through the loser or the loser bracket as well. So we'll have to see.
All right. It didn't go. I don't know if they gave me the wrong leader name. I think they must have. Oh, there it goes. Okay, perfect. It's popping up now.
Yep.
All right, so it is going to be on the Grand Arena, guys. Best of 3, as always, and. We'll see what's going to go down here. This is the winner's bracket semifinal, so whoever loses still has another chance. Whoever wins is going to go straight to the grand finals, I do believe, which would mean you're guaranteed one of those top 2 spots, and you're guaranteed at least €600, so not too shabby just for playing a couple games of Arena. Pretty sweet. And Katsura is going to be the DK. We have Terrio on the Druid. And Flame Shock Lava Burst, very aptly named on this Ellie Shaman. They're going to be going up against Dew even, Dr. Franken, and Shuniton.
Yeah, so Flame Shock Lava Burst, that is how Ellie Shamans play, especially when they get tunneled. And they somehow, even if I tell an Ellie Shaman, they still end up doing top damage, and I am confused on how that is even possible, but it is possible. That is the way the class works. And this mock TSG, I feel like they have a really, really, they're very good. They've proven themselves, to be pretty damn good cleavers. So we're going to see what they're going to do.
Straight for the Druid, dude, and he's right back behind the pillar. They were trying to get over onto it, but they're going to start off on the Shaman actually now. And there's a Stormbolt on the Shaman, Fear onto this Druid. Druid actually has to trigger that immediately. NS comes out, and this Shaman is getting chunked very, very hard. Now they're going to grip in the Druid, who has no trinket. And they're going to be going hard onto this Druid, popping all their cooldowns. He is stunned. Soul Reaper's already up onto him. And we see Dew even taking a lot of damage as well. They're going to be going onto the Warrior, trying to peel him off. Ring of Peace comes out. IBF used there. Ironbark used. Barkskin used. Everything has been used here by this Druid. Now he's going for that Tranquility. But look at the damage coming out onto this Shaman. The Shaman's just getting absolutely destroyed. They're not really healing through this at all. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep him alive here. The Stormbolt comes out. Flameshock Lava Burst is down very, very low, down to 200k HP. 150k HP. Now gets a big heal there. I think that was Nature's Guardian proccing actually. The incap comes out on Terrio. This may be enough to get the kill. 10k HP. There's a charge. I think he's going to go down. He gets crushed. And look at HaxanCleave, man. Proving you wrong. They say Can't kill an Ellie Shaman, says who? They just destroyed him, man. That was crazy.
I'm actually so surprised that a Cleave is able to take down an Ellie Shaman. That is wild. I know whenever I run a Cleave, that is not even possible, but they proved me wrong, man. They did so much damage to that other Shaman, that was wild, you know. Just getting that instant fear on the Druid and cross coming in with the Shaman's a great job. I think I would have preferred the Shaman to trinket over the Druid to trinket, you know, to get the Tremor off, but, you know, it didn't really matter all that much in the end, but oh my goodness, the amount of damage coming out just onto that. Like, look at the damage numbers at the end, I mean, they just crushed. Like, they both, like, their team combined did, like, twice as much damage total as the LA Shaman DK team. I feel like the LA Shaman DK may be able to stabilize, they can do something, but, like, that was wild.
6.5 million damage, or actually more, because the monk did almost 500,000. So 7 million damage from HaxanCleave, and on the other side, they did under 3 million.
Yeah, for sure. So just so much damage coming out of this DK. You know, they embraced their inner Cleave, man. They saw blue and they knew what's up. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a really hard matchup for this LA Shaman DK team. You know, I didn't know. I thought they were gonna win for sure. I thought it was, you know, a clean sweep, but nope. Proving me wrong, you know, doing all that damage they can do.
Yeah, who knows, man. Yeah, sorry about the FPS, guys. For whatever reason, there's a bug with Zuen, just with the Blizzard Spectator UI, where when Zuen gets popped, it just lags it out. So it's the way it is.
One thing that I actually find really interesting is like the DK took as much damage as the Druid and the Shaman did during that game, which is pretty wild.
Who did? Sorry.
The Death Knight.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, I guess everything's just clean cleave, right? It's like,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, one thing I would have liked to see is, like, maybe they can even, I don't think he NS Hex any of the DPS. I feel like that's a great way to, you know, kind of stop the pressure. You know, NS Hex the DK, or the Warrior, he's going to have to trinket that and then just full clone him, you know, trying to stop that opening pressure, but they just weren't ready at all for it.
Yeah, no, they definitely weren't. And, they are swapping, okay, I don't know how to actually do that accent, so I have to get that from somewhere. I think it was in my chat from yesterday. I'm going to scroll up in this fake blog and try to find it. Okay, let's find this. He is going to be changing to a different, they're going Alliance. Okay, so it's going to be Blade's Edge. It's going to be Blade's Edge, and they're going to be going Alliance, and he said he's wearing the wrong gear, so you know, I'm sure he's going to be more tanky this time. He's also going to be playing Dwarf for Stone Form, and he can, you know, remove the diseases and bleeds. So that's all going to help. And I think that Blades is going to be really hard for this TSG because he could just stand on the edge and try to knock them off. And I mean, they have double knockoffs, right? They have Typhoon plus Thunderstorm. So I think if they don't crush on this map, then they don't really have a chance. But I think they have a good chance of crushing on this map.
I definitely think they have a good chance, you know, of like making a comeback on this map, especially like if the enemy doesn't want to get knocked, you know, they have that DK on their team just to like put them in a position and to put them in the position to get knocked. So that's one thing that they also have going for them. I feel like they were kind of surprised that game, you know, that wasn't completely composed of them. They didn't play the best that they could, and maybe this game they're gonna be a little more ready. They're gonna play a little better, and they're gonna, you know, show what they can actually really do against this comp. But it did look crazy from the other team. I mean, like I did have my Shaman frame kind of bug, so I wasn't actually able to see the Shaman flipping up and down. But you were saying it all. It sounded really insane, and he did end up going down.
Yeah, I mean, he chunked down instantly through Shaman Wall to like 200k, and then the Tranquility was coming out, and it wasn't even moving his HP, and like it was just, I don't know, he got smoked.
Yeah, DK doesn't really offer any peels either, which is not good.
Yep. So anyway, they are going to be coming on out here. We'll see what they're going to be able to get done. The Hot's already going up, and they are just leaping right in, and what just happened there? I think it was a Thunderstorm actually caught him, but we do see the Fear onto the Druid, and there's the Trinket Tremor now, as you talked about from them last time, and now the 68 comes over onto the Druid. They're going to be swapping right onto him. He already pops the IBF. He's trying to blink away. He actually gets around the corner there. He went down to 100k, almost dying there through IBF. Just crazy damage coming out, and they couldn't even get a death grip onto him, continue that damage. But look at Katsura now, taking a lot of pressure. They're going to be swapping it over onto the DK. Ironbark had to go up on him, and now they're going to be swapping right back onto the Ellie Shaman, it looks like. The amount of pressure this Cleave is putting out is still, you know, quite a lot. Due even taking some damage himself, but Shunitin doing a good job healing through it, and now they're going to go right back onto the Druid. There's the Asphyxiate coming out. Not going to decide to trinket this. You know, feels like there's not enough damage coming out to warrant that, but the follow-up Shockwave, and now the Soul Reaper is up there as well. He does dispel that off. He was able to live through that pretty well. Had the Bark Sim pop for it, so, you know, doing a good job. At the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Tons of damage coming out of this team. You know, they're all dipping around, you know, 65% health, so this Cleave is definitely doing what they need to do, but they're surviving this time. You know, they're playing a lot better. They're, you know, haven't forced any cooldowns, in fact, coming up, but there's a Asphyxiate coming out to Shunitin. I do believe he did nimble out of that. right there. So, forcing a little bit of cooldown, but not too much. And this cleave, just putting it on, there's a fixate coming out onto the rest of Druid. Doesn't trigger that, just, kind of leaping or displace your beast in your way, playing defensive. The shield wall was actually forced out there on Do You Even. I'm not sure if that was a misplay, like a misplay or something, but I don't think his health was actually dipping all that low. So he doesn't have that cooldown anymore, but it does look like they're just telling him to the death knight. But Walrus, on the other hand, as soon as you displace your beast away, I mean, they switch back onto him. There's the full fear. Does end up getting tremors. So great job by that Ellie Shaman getting that off right away before it was able to be covered. And the rest of Druid, he seems pretty comfortable, being able to keep his team up. And there's the full clone coming out onto Shuniton. Under that's asphyxiate, so there's a CC, and they're going hard to Dr. Frank, and that is going to force a trinket out. So if we can see an Endless Hex come in, this actually might be the end for it, but no, being topped by those great monk heals, such big heals coming out onto him, and they'll be just fine, and the pressure's going back onto the rest of Druid.
Yeah, the Soul Reaper is up. Barkston popped immediately, but he's really starting to struggle here. We do see the incap over onto Walrix, and there's a blink, but he's going to get grip right back in, and this could be the end here for TOURNEY if he can't get away. But he is going to be able to get away, and Walrix is down very, very low. This LA Shaman was down about 150k there briefly. We can see Katsura taking a little bit of pressure himself. The bash comes out onto Shuniton. That's going to force the Life Cocoon actually on the wrong target. He put the Life Cocoon on the DK instead of the Warrior, and that may cost him the game. The Cyclone comes out as well, and I think it is going to cost him the game. Do You Even does not have that shield wall, and yeah, the wrong target catches the Life Cocoon, and that costs them. Shuniton accidentally put it out on the DK instead of the Warrior.
Yeah, definitely a giant mistake coming out there to cost them the game. I mean, the rally cry was that maybe they would have been able to damage through it, but that was just a full hex into a bash, into a full clone. So great job by them, lining up that CC. And it looks like if this DK LA team, is able to survive, if they're able to last, they're going to be able to get a kill. But one thing, I mean, the Warrior walled at 100% HP when their monk wasn't in CC. I feel like that must have been a mistake by him, like something that he wasn't like. That's just really, really strange. Maybe he knew something that I didn't that was going on in the game, or maybe. No, but he was at 100%. I feel like that was definitely a mistake.
I think it was just a mistake, dude. He wasted the shield wall early, and then the Life Cocoon comes out on the wrong target, and it definitely would not have he would have lived for sure, because the DK the monk's trinket was up. I think it was on maybe I don't even know, because the monk's trinket was up at the end of the game. I don't know what happened there, but.
I'm not sure. They must have just had a little bit of maybe either it was either miscommunication or just a mishit, which does happen. You hit the wrong, especially if you're in a tournament. You're a new tournament player. The nerves can get to you. You hit the wrong target keybind and you press the wrong button. Sometimes definitely sometimes stuff like that comes out, but definitely a rough game for them. It seemed like ZP's team or ZPI team was having a really hard time the first game, but they kind of composed themselves that game, and it looked like the Monk TSG kind of flopping under the pressure this time.
Okay, so we are going to be going on into the next game. It's going to be on Dalaran, and we'll see what's going to happen here. I think this is going to be a much better map for HaxanCleave, and without those mistakes, I think they definitely have the potential to get the kills. I mean, even last game, they almost killed the Druid instantly. They did get the Shaman very low, and if they rotate their cooldowns properly, I feel like they can last a really long time. So
I believe so as well, and I mean. The Druid did almost die. I mean, he had Soul Reaper on him. He was at 160k health, and the Soul Reaper did actually proc. I do believe it probably didn't crit on him to kill him, but I mean, that's what proc to get him below 100k health. So definitely a scary moment there for them in the opener when all the cooldowns are being popped and they have to play very defensive during that. I really haven't seen a defensive hex coming out of this LA shot. I mean, there's no decurse. I feel like if you just hex the Warrior, clone the Warrior in the opener, try to control him until the storm is over, that would be a very good thing for them to do. But they decided, that it's not worth it for them. They want to try to put all the CC kind of out on this shot, on this monk, because they feel like if they don't, they're going to lose. So just kind of following this dude on the opener. This team is instantly running. The Cleave wants to get started on that LA Shaman right away. We're probably going to see that cross CC on the Fear and stuff, but just tons of damage instantly going to be coming on the LA Shaman. We do see the Thunderstorm, so I'm actually kind of curious why they didn't pick runes. Maybe they just don't feel as comfortable without the line of sight, the consistent box line of sight. But the Shockwave coming in. And actually, they're just going on to the Druid. It looks like they're almost even splitting DPS, but yeah, it looks like the Death Knight's on the Druid and the Warrior is currently hitting Walrus. But there's the Fear, instantly being tremored. It looks like they're both connecting the Druid here. Barkskin being thrown out. Tons of damage coming out, but it's still not as offensive opener as we saw in the first game.
Yeah, definitely not. But I don't think 2 even has really blown that much just yet. I mean, I think that this team is holding more of their cooldowns. Now the shield wall does have to come out there from Do You Even, but I believe he still has all his offensives, is what I mean. The 68 does come over on a Shuniton. Life Cocoon coming out as well, so big pressure coming out, but they're all stacked up, and look at this Druid starting to really rot, and now Recklessness is going to get popped. They're going to be going all over on this Ellie Shaman with that Recklessness. The Healing Stream gets killed off immediately. The Shaman wall is popped, but will it be enough here? Down to 200k HP is Walrix, 150k now. The 68 goes over onto Triax, and this Warrior here, just still chasing after this Ellie Shaman. The Shaman will be expiring here very shortly, and we did see that the Nature's Guardian has already procced as well, so both of those are not going to be available. Heart of the Wild goes up here from Treyx, trying to heal through this as much as he possibly can, and now Do Even is going to be swapping over onto the Druid. And he's going to be doing some damage onto him. My frames have lagged down, unfortunately, but we will see how much is being done there. The disarm does come across onto Katsura, and for now it looks like things are stabilizing a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. We did see both strings come out from both both healers during that game. First, during that engagement, actually, in fact, Asphyxiate on to the rest of Judy didn't trinket that, and a Hex on to Shunatin, you did trinket that. So there's no more really defensive cooldowns left for this warrior and for this monk. I mean, if they can get a good CC chain with the Hex and the Cyclone, we could see this warrior going down, because I do believe that is entirely their choice, but I'm not really too sure. There's a Ring of Peace going down. Both Death Knights are in AMS. They're all in that stream. Everyone's kind of clustered up. And the Freight's going to come back. There's a full Hex on the Shinnikin. Looks like they're actually picking to target the Druid. The Iron Bark goes up. He has no trinket. I'm not sure if IBF is available right now. I do believe he probably should follow that up. But the Warrior did be so low. I know. Full clone. Did be down to 70k health. Chili will go down. And there he goes. Let's go down the other side. So there's that full clone. He does die.
Yeah, full CC came out on the monk, and Do even tried to leap away. But the amount of pressure that came out from proccing at the start was actually huge. Do even just got rocked. I mean, they needed the show and the life cocoon instantly last game on him, and I think honestly that was kind of as a result of the fact that they didn't actually pop their offensives right away, and I feel like that may have actually been a bit of a mistake, because when you look at the other games, every game, Do Even and Dr. Franken ran in and popped every offensive cooldown instantly, and it's put this team on the back foot so much that like they weren't putting out any pressure at the start, And this game, they didn't do that. They tried to hold their cooldowns, I guess maybe to try to force some cooldowns and then blow all their offensives. But by the time they used their offensives, they'd already used, Trinket, Shield Wall, Die by the Sword, Life Cocoon. They had to go through so much before they even got started, really, in that game.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like using all your cooldowns and kind of trying to force the enemy team on the back foot, scare them a lot with your cooldowns, scare them into not playing as offensive is definitely a great strategy as a cleave. Just the scare factor, especially in the tournament, with such high, stakes are on the line, putting that scare into someone can definitely make them play like a lot more defensive than they actually really have to, and just using that kind of to your advantage is a really good thing to do.